Okay, there's some type of weird chirping. So I don't know if something's living in my ceiling or what, but we gotta get a video made, so let's just do it, shall we? Hey guys, it's Mommy Cray Cray. So today, we're gonna be taking a look at horrifying wedding disasters on Reddit. I came across this article on brides.com, not BuzzFeed like my usual thing. So let's go through this and you guys get your tea, I have my tea, whatever you need to do, and let's see how bad these weddings actually get. At my friend's wedding, after the ceremony, my cousin, his best man, got completely destroyed before his best man speech. He proceeded to go up on stage, ramble for 15 to 20 minutes telling crude jokes and how many women the groom had slept with before he met his now wife. He then jumped off stage, fell over on the landing, and split his pants down the butt. Still not done. He challenged the groom's 75-year-old grandpa to a wrestling match and lost. Groom told him after he woke up from passing out later on the floor that he'd never forgive him. Yeah, this is pretty bad. I wonder why no one like kicked him out or escorted him out of the reception. It's kind of weird. Why did they let him just keep going on and on? Like, would you let someone go on and on at your wedding like this? Who's to blame here? Is he to blame? Like, if he's drunk and you let him get up on stage for 15 to 20 minutes, like if he's slurring his words and telling crude jokes after the first one, someone should have snatched him down. Something about this seems weird. Like, why would you let a person do this at your wedding? Why not just stop them? This just seems like something they could have controlled. It is a horror story, but I don't know. Next one. A few years back, I went to a wedding of a family friend of mine. The bride's parents had divorced when she was very little, and she decided to have her stepdad walk her down the aisle since she was much closer to him than her real father. Well, her father's family was not too thrilled about that, and her grandma basically threw a fit the entire time. About halfway through the reception, the bride was so upset about how they were acting, she stood up on the main table and screamed, "Nana, get the out of here." That's not something you hear every day. So this grandma, I'm assuming, just wasn't mature enough to realize the dynamics of the relationship. So instead of just, you know what, this is my granddaughter's day, this has nothing to do with her father, who basically I raised and was a horrible person probably and wasn't really in her life. No, let's make it about me and why my son and why I can't, you know, we can't get the shine that we deserve at your wedding. This is what makes me sick about like some family members who just, they're so selfish. They don't realize that, okay, they're the problem. And even on something that's special for you, it doesn't matter to them because it's not their show. They aren't getting what they want. So that's more important to them than your big day. This is horrible. Next story. My mother-in-law is crazy. Her favorite thing to do is make people deeply uncomfortable, and hardly anyone talks to her for that. Her one daughter had an outdoor wedding this summer when the West Nile virus was all over the news. So to get attention, she threw a giant fit and showed up to the wedding wearing a pith helmet in camouflage with mosquito netting. Y'all, and refused to take it off. She is all in the wedding photos like this. Bruh, I wouldn't even let her take pictures. Like, why would they let her take pictures like that? I just feel like, I'm sorry, if you refuse to take this off, you're just not taking pictures today. It's my wedding, my way. And if she gets mad and leaves, then that's her problem. Like, okay. And it seems like she does things to get a rile out of people, like to make them upset, because she needs a reaction in order to keep going. All right, next story. My dad was at a wedding where there were all sorts of pristine and exquisite sauces and garnishes. It was basically rebottled ketchup and mayo. And when people got their food, they would just garnish it however they wanted. My dad reached for the ketchup and tried to get some out. So he shook the ketchup like anyone else would to allow it to flow out. One problem, he forgot to put the cap on the end and he shook it in a motion over his shoulder. Who was behind him? The bride in her white dress. Our family isn't in contact with them anymore. Oh my God. So she had a ketchup stain all down her wedding dress? Oh my gosh. I know it's not his fault. Like, it's his fault, but I know it wasn't done on purpose. But if that happened to me, I don't even know how I would I would be so mad. Like, that is a reason maybe just not to talk. It's best we just go our separate ways because the animosity is too strong. All right, next story. The worst thing that I ever saw at a wedding was something I did. I was at a friend's wedding a couple years ago. It was me, my brother, and another friend attending together. Full Catholic wedding mass. In a church with hard wooden pews, halfway through in my boredom, I tried to relieve a little pressure and ease out a quick silent fart. Bruh. Well, it wasn't quiet and it wasn't quick. And instead of being covered up by loud music, it went off in a dead silent part of the service. No music, no talking, nothing but the fart. It bounced off the wooden pew and echoed through the silent church. You can hear it on the wedding video. My brother and friends stared at me in shock, and all three of us quickly started pointing at each other as everyone started looking our way. All of us beat red, all of us trying not to laugh out loud. The three of us spent the last 30 minutes of the ceremony just trying to keep our cool together. We were all hunched over, staring at the floor, snorting as we held in our laughter. Just when we would get it under control, we look at each other, see the other in a similar state, and set it off again. We all looked like we were having a stroke trying to hold in our laughter. To this day, the thing everyone remembers about that wedding is my fart. Next story. I didn't witness it myself, but my father told me a story once of when he was at a wedding. The groom decided halfway through the ceremony that he didn't want to get married. He was then attacked by the father and brother of the bride. After a brawl and a few bloody noses, he changed his mind and they got married? What? Okay. Next story. I used to work weddings. There was a Russian bride whose bridal party didn't approve of her groom-to-be, and they had literally beat the mess out of her and locked her in the trunk the week before the wedding in attempts to change her mind. Heavy makeup couldn't hide the bruises on the wedding day. Her sister wore a white dress and she had to get a motley bridal party with similar colored mismatched dresses, as she obviously didn't want the old group there anymore. What amazed me most, she was still so very happy to be committing herself to a partner, and those bruises could hardly be noticed after the ceremony as her smile was so bright. Bruh. A Russian bride whose bridal party didn't approve of her groom-to-be, so they beat her up. And this girl is smiling. Oh yeah, forget those bruises. At least her smile was bright on the wedding day. That's all that's necessary. What? Well, this happened yesterday afternoon at my cousin's wedding. Ooh, fresh meat. All was going well until my 5-year-old cousin, the ring bearer, takes the cushion with the ring on it and spins it above his head, throwing it at the flower girl, leaving the bride's ring nowhere to be found. It took all of the bridesmaids and groomsmen a good while to crawl around their knees to recover it. Oh, that little boy. Back in my day, he would have had the brakes beat off him, but now he's probably just going to get a little time out and talking to. But if I was his parents, I would want to run out of that wedding. My mom toasting the groom, not me, thankfully, and saying how thankful she was to have the bride come into his life, thereby by removing any questions of the groom's sexual orientation. What? Okay, new story. 2 of my friends got married. The groom cheated on his bride quite often, including the night before the wedding. An anonymous text was sent out and spilled the beans to the bride. A fight ensued, but the wedding continued as planned. Also, the girl that did the bride's makeup for the wedding, well, that was the girl who had been sleeping with the groom. I have never witnessed a more awkward situation in my life. So the makeup artist is having an affair with the groom, the bridal makeup person. So she's doing her... People are weird. Next. At my parents' wedding, my mother's brother passed out during the ceremony and hit his head on the ground so hard it was bleeding. Then in response, another of her brothers passed out at the sight of the blood. They kept going with the ceremony. Okay. I bartend weddings, so I get to see like 20 to 30 a year. And probably the craziest thing I've ever seen was only a couple of weeks ago. The bride was absolutely plastered, bar was closed, and she's leaning against the bar. Some really dorky guy comes up to her and starts telling her how he thought they were always more than friends and they had a deep connection. And as if just to shut this guy up, the bride pulls the top of her dress down and says there, and then walks away. Guys, that's it. I'm gonna be doing more of these kind of story times and articles and things just to get these out there. These things are funny. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to my other channel, Mommy Cray Cray, and also follow me on Instagram at Mommy Cray Cray. I live at Disney World, so I do a ton of Disney stuff. See you guys later. Bye.